Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, this is the first time I'm going to do a TBR. I've never done one before because I know myself, I never follow through. But there are so many readathons in November that I want to participate in some way that I actually have a somewhat plan for my TBR for this month. I mean, kind of. Okay, so first of all, we have basically the four that I want to participate in are nonfiction November. I will do my best. I'm not a huge nonfiction reader, so we'll see how that goes. I try to read at least one, though. And then we have Historithon, which is hosted by Gloria from Gloria Z. Thompson, Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library, and Amanda from On the Middle Shelf. They've been doing this for years, and I always participate in it, but honestly, Historithon is every day for me. I love historical fiction. It's probably my primary genre. But yeah, I thought that since I started a channel this year, I would attempt to follow some of the prompts. So yeah, I'm going to participate in that. And then there is a Little Women readathon, or yeah, whatever. It's happening. Bookphoria and Ponytails and Paperbacks, and some others are hosting it. Those are the two that I'm subscribed to. I always get Ponytails and Paperbacks confused with Paperbacks and Ponytails, which is the one I, generally get book recs from. But yeah, they're doing a sort of a Little Women readathon thing. And then there is the more Montgomery one that Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes and Lizzie Faye from Lizzie Faye Loves Books are doing. I think Lizzie Faye's doing it. Could be wrong. Anyway, so yeah, that's a lot of readathons, plus just whatever I just feel like reading. So we're going to go over some potential possibilities, and some of these can fit into just prompts in general. So let's start with nonfiction November. So I am going to read Shadows of the Workhouse by Jennifer Worth. It's the second book in the Call the Midwife series. I'm listening to a podcast called Recall the Midwife, where they go over each of the TV show episodes. I'm really behind, but they just finished reading the second book in the series. They do a new book after they finish every season or every few seasons. So they did Call the Midwife a few months back, and now they're doing Shadows of the Workhouse. So I'm going to read that so I can listen to the episodes. So that kills two birds with one stone. Nonfiction November and my podcast reading. And I might read Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I heard about this one through Currently Reading podcast. It's so yeah, I might read that. And then I've been meaning to read this since it came out. Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry, also known as Chandler Muriel Bing. May he rest in peace. I, along with the rest of the world, is pretty devastated at his passing. And so now I am finally going to read his book. I've literally had it since it came out last year, and I meant to read it, and I didn't. And now I get to read it and cry because it's even sadder. But yeah, I'm going to read that for Nonfiction November. So now on to happier things. Historithon! So I'm going to just kind of do the prompts that I can find books for. So Amanda's prompts I did find some books for. The first one is a book with a color in the title. I actually only found one. Well, I found two, actually. Lilac Girls is one, but I'm not going to read it because I want to read those, in chronological order. It's like a series. I know Lilac Girls is written first, but I kind of want to read, about the family in, chronological order. So I'm not going to read Lilac Girls because that's, one of the last ones, or the last one. So, yeah, I'm going to read Yellow Crocus by Layla Ibrahim. I heard about this one from Krista from Books and Jams. She didn't like it that much, but I bought the whole series, so I better like it. I bought it during the Amazon or Audible World like, the Audible site-wide sale. I cannot speak. So I'll read the description for this one. Moments after Lisbeth is born, she's taken from her mother and handed over to an enslaved wet nurse, Maddie, a young mother separated from her own infant son in order to care for her tiny charge. Thus begins an intense relationship that will shape both of their lives for decades to come. So yeah, that sounded really interesting. I'm going to try not to read every long description, but I was really interested in this series. I know Krista was not as big a fan of it, but I'm hoping I'll like it. Next is 3 words in the title. Honestly, there's so many books that could apply to this. Like, so many books have 3 words in the title. So I narrowed it down to ones that I'm actually going to read. I started out with this huge list, and then I was like, okay, really? Let's go to what you actually really, really want to read. And judge me, but most of them are World War II historical fiction. As most of my historical fiction reading is. Well, not all of it, but you know. Okay, so the first one I have that I'm definitely going to read this month, I've been wanting to forever. It's called The Wartime Nanny by Lizzie Page. The Nazis are everywhere now. We must leave Vienna. It might be that soon our letters won't get out anymore. Can you help, dear sister? Please ask for us. Send news and quickly, please. London, 1938. 16-year-old Natalie Lehman takes the heartbreaking decision to leave her family behind in Vienna and travel to England to join her cousin Lee in service. Natalie is placed with a wealthy suburban family, the Kaplans, as a nanny to their energetic 6-year-old. At first, Natalie is delighted by the huge house and beautiful gardens, but things aren't as perfect as they seem. While Natalie dotes on their child, she is increasingly wary of Mr. Kaplan, whose gruff manner and fascist politics scare her. And then there are those still waiting at home, Mama and her 2 sisters, as well as a blossoming romance with her English tutor that had only just begun. But when Vienna falls under Nazi rule, Natalie begins to fear for her family, especially her vivacious, tomboy little sister Libby. Then rumors of a possible escape route from mainland Europe called the Kindertransport begin to swirl. Can Natalie help her family escape the Nazis before it's too late? Yep, totally my book. I'm definitely reading this one. I've been meaning to forever, and it's going to get done. Another one that I've been meaning to read is The Orphan's Secret by Shirley Dixon. I've had this one for years. With the war raging, Lily has learned not to take life for granted. In a time of such tragedy, every day is a gift. Her husband is a soldier fighting to save their country, and she prays that she will survive, to one day welcome him home. One sweltering July night, bombs rain down. Lily and her dear friend Ethel, who is 9 months pregnant, seek refuge in a shelter. Miraculously, a baby girl is born to the sound of ear-splitting shrieks and explosions in the distance. Once the rage quietens, Lily races into the house to find the newborn a blanket. But then the unthinkable happens. Planes thunder right over the rooftops. When Lily rouses, finding herself amongst broken glass and crumbled bricks, she is devastated to discover that Ethel has been killed, leaving little joy behind. With tears rolling down her face, Lily makes a split-second decision. To save the orphan child, Lily must tell a heartbreaking lie, a secret that she holds close to her chest for years. But when the truth comes out, whose lives will be destroyed? And will she ever be forgiven? That is totally something I would read. Next is one that is not World War II. A Mother's Promise by K.D. Alden. I cannot remember where I heard this one from. Maybe from Krista from Books and Jams? I'm not sure. But this could also apply to a prompt from who? Somebody had a prompt that was based on a true story. So, based on a true story behind a landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision. Okay. Virginia, 1927. A chance to have a family. That's all Ruth Ann Riley wants. But because she was unwed and pregnant, she was sent away and her baby given to another woman. Now they're trying to take Ruth Ann's right to have another child. But she can't stand the thought of never seeing little Annabelle's face again, never snuggling up to her warmth or watching her blue eyes crinkle with laughter. Good thing she has a plan. All the rich and fancy folks may call her feeble-minded, but Ruth Ann is smarter than any of them have bargained for, because no matter how high the odds are stacked against her, she is going to overcome the scandals in her past and get her child back, and along the way she just may find unexpected friendships and the possibility of love in the most unlikely of places. Yep, totally mine. Then we have Codename Edelweiss by Stephanie Lanson. I heard about this one from Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. I've had it since it came out. Haven't read it yet. In the summer of 1933, a man named Adolf Hitler is the new and powerful anti-Semitic chancellor of Germany. But in Los Angeles, no-nonsense Secretary Liesl Weiss has concerns much closer to home. The Great Depression is tightening its grip, and Liesl is the sole supporter of 2 children, an opinionated mother, and a troubled brother. Leon Lewis is a Jewish lawyer who has watched Adolf Hitler's rise to power and the increase in anti-Semitism in America with growing alarm. He believes Nazi agents are working to seize control of Hollywood, the greatest propaganda machine the world has ever known. The trouble is, authorities scoff at his dire warnings. When Lisa loses her job at MGM, her only choice is to work with Leon Lewis and the mysterious Agent 13 to spy on her friends and neighbors in her German-American community. What Leon Lewis and his spies find is more chilling and more dangerous than any of them suspected. Yikes. And then we have another one that's not World War II. I just recently heard about this one from Krista from Books and Jams, The Orphan House by Anne Bennett. Baby born September 5th, 1934. Approximately. Place of birth unknown. Father unknown. Mother unknown. Present day. Sarah Jennings knows there's one place she can go to find some peace and quiet during her difficult divorce. But arriving at her beloved father's home in the countryside, she finds him unwell and hunched over boxes of files, studying the records from Cedar Hall, the crumbling orphanage in town. He says that hidden behind the wrought iron gates and overgrown ivy are secrets about their family, and he asks for her help. Sarah goes to speak to Connie Burroughs, the only person left alive who lived at Cedar Hall. Her questions take Connie from the comfort of her nursing home right back to a chilly night in 1934. As a little girl, she saw her own father carrying a newborn baby bundled in rags that he said he'd found near the broken front gate. The day Connie began to protect his secrets. Yikes. But just as Sarah begins to convince Connie that the truth can set her free, she realizes that unlocking the past might have heartbreaking consequences. And the last book in this little category here, The Warsaw Sisters by Amanda Barrett, also recommended by Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. It was the most recent video, and this book is coming out next week. So this is definitely getting read because it sounds so good. It sounds kind of like The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, just with Christian fiction. On a golden August morning in 1939, sisters Antonina and Helena send their father off to defend Poland against the looming threat of German invasion. The next day, the first bombs fall on Warsaw, decimating their beloved city and shattering the world of their youth. When Antonina's beloved Marek is forced behind ghetto walls along with the rest of Warsaw's Jewish population, Antonina turns her worry into action and becomes a key figure in a dark network of women risking their lives to shelter Jewish children. Helena finds herself drawn into the ranks of Poland's secret army, joining the fight to free her homeland from occupation. But the secrets both are forced to keep threaten to tear the sisters apart, and the cost of resistance proves greater than either ever imagined. Yep. Then the next category is a book with the word book in the title. So, yeah, the first one I found for this, I don't know if I'll read it just because there's so many already here that I really want to get to. But the one I found is The Last Bookshop in London by Madeline Martin. I heard about this one through Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes. August 1939. London prepares for war as Hitler's forces sweep across Europe. Grace Bennett has always dreamed of moving to the city, but the bunkers of blackout curtains that she finds on her arrival were not what she expected, and she certainly never imagined she'd wind up working at Primrose Hill, a dusty old bookshop nestled in the heart of London. Through blackouts and air raids, as the Blitz intensifies, Grace discovers the power of storytelling to unite her community in a way she never dreamed, a force that triumphs over even the darkest nights of the war. Then here's another one that I've had on my list forever. The Paris Library by Janet Skesling Charles. Paris, 1939. This is also based on a true story, apparently. Young and ambitious, Odile, I cannot say this last name, has it all. Her handsome police officer beau and a dream job at the American Library in Paris. When the Nazis march into Paris, Odile stands to lose everything she holds dear, including her beloved library. Together with her fellow librarians, Odile joins the resistance with the best weapon she has, books. But when the war finally ends, instead of freedom, Odile tastes the bitter sting of unspeakable betrayal. Montana, 1983. Lily is a lonely teenager looking for adventure in small-town Montana. Her interest is piqued by her solitary elderly neighbor. As Lily uncovers more about her neighbor's mysterious past, she finds that they share a love of language, the same longings, and the same intense jealousy, never suspecting that a dark secret from the past connects them. And another one I have here for, the word book. It's not like the word book. It's the word library. Close enough, right? The Little Wartime Library by Kate Thompson. London, 1944. Clara Button is no ordinary librarian. While war ravages the city above her, Clara has risked everything she holds dear to turn the Bethnal Green tube station into the country's only underground library. Down here, a secret community thrives with thousands of bunk beds, a nursery, a cafe, and theater offering shelter, solace, and escape from the bombs that fall upon their city. Along with her glamorous best friend and assistant Ruby Monroe, Clara ensures the library is the beating heart of life underground. But as the war drags on, the women's determination to remain strong in the face of adversity is tested to the limits, when it may come at the price of keeping those closest to them alive. So, yeah. Those are the books I have for that. Gloria's Prompts, I couldn't really think of anything. Hers are A Place You Want to Visit, a 5-star prediction. I never really made any predictions. And a book based on a true story. Some of these apply. Lindsay's Prompts, book by a favorite author. I don't know. Probably Kelly Rimmer. Favorite time period. Obviously World War II, considering that's a majority of my books. And recommended by a favorite booktuber? I don't know. But yeah. I also have a couple historical fictions that just, I don't know, I've been wanting to read for a while too. I'm hoping to get to, that may not necessarily, follow the prompts. Well, actually just one. No Ocean Too Wide by Carrie Turonsky. I heard about this one from Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails. Actually, there's two. Maybe I'll get to both of them. Hopefully, we'll see. Between the years of 1869 to 1939, more than 100,000 poor British children were sent across the ocean to Canada with the promise of a better life. Those who took them into work as farm laborers and household servants were told they were orphans. But was that the truth? After the tragic loss of their father, the McAllister family is living at the edge of the poorhouse in London in 1908, leaving their mother to scrape by for her 3 younger children, while oldest daughter Laura works on a large estate more than an hour away. When Edna McAllister falls gravely ill and is hospitalized, twins Katie and Garth and 8-year-old Grace are forced into an orphan's home before Laura is notified about her family's unfortunate turn of events in London. With hundreds of British children sent on ships to Canada, whether truly orphans or not, Laura knows she must act quickly, but finding her siblings and taking care of her family may cost her everything. And there's a guy. I'm going to stop reading now. Andrew Fraser. Just because this description is long. So yeah, that is the last historical fiction books that I'm really hoping to read. Now on to the next readathon. the more Montgomery challenge books. I have a couple of Anne of Green Gables retellings. I have Anne of Manhattan by Brina Starler. It's like a modern day Anne of Green Gables. Anne goes to college in Manhattan. We'll see how that goes. Then I have a nonfiction. Ooh, I should have included this in nonfiction November. After Anne, a novel of Lucy Maud Montgomery's life by Logan Steiner. Totally gonna read this. And I also have another retelling called Anne of Greenville by Mariko Tamiki. I saw this one in the Braille Institute catalog. And yeah. And we'll see if I get to Anne of Green Gables. Honestly, I start to lose interest after Anne of the Island. Like, I love the first few. Well, maybe Anne's House of Dreams. I might get all the way to book 5 before I'm like, okay, over it. Because, like, once you get to Anne of Ingleside, it kind of gets, I don't know. I think I just don't like the time gaps in Anne of Ingleside and on. Like, they're almost like vignettes. I'm like, okay, if you're going to talk about Anne's kids, go in order. Tell me all about each of the births. Like, just don't jump in time so much. It's annoying. So, like, it kind of just bugs me once we pass Anne's having children. And also, justice for Shirley. All we know about Shirley is that he's the little brown boy. Like, come on. That's all we know. I want more. I want somebody to, like, write about the gaps in Anne of Ingleside and, like, just the lives of Anne's children in more detail. Anyway. Then the Little Women readathon. I have some retellings of Little Women that I want to get to. I already read Little Women at the beginning of this year and Little Men. The only one I haven't read is Joe's Boys, and I don't really think I want to just because they're adults at that point. It's more fun to read about the kids. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to read, hopefully, we'll see. I may not. I don't know. Beth and Amy by Virginia Cantra. It's a sequel to Meg and Joe. I read that one, I think, last year. And it was just like this modern version of Meg and Joe. Meg is like a struggling mom whose husband doesn't pay that much attention to her. And Joe is potentially, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but Beth and Amy is the next one. And then I want to read So Many Beginnings by Bethany C. Morrow. I think they make, like, the girls African-American. I might say that for Black History Month. We'll see. And Joe and Lori by Margaret Stahl. It's basically what if Joe ended up with Lori, like, you know, that kind of thing. I bought that one a couple of years ago, and I literally started reading it, and I had to return to the library, so I bought it, and then I never went back to it. So I'm hoping to get to it. And then other books I want to get to, like contemporary ones that are coming out. Hold My Girl by Charlene Carr. I heard about it through the Literally Reading podcast. It's coming out on the 7th in audio. I don't know why the print came out first. It's so annoying. Whatever. It's basically about 2 women and, like, the eggs are switched. But one of the women's children, like, passes away. It's in the back of the book. So, yeah, like, that one finds out that the other woman has her actual kid. It's a whole thing. So I'm interested. And then The Leftover Woman by Jean Kwok is another one I want to get to. It's about a woman who is forced to give her kid up for adoption, and the story of the adoptive parents, too. You know me. I'm kind of twisted and love a good custody battle. And I talked about No Ocean Too Wide. Okay. And I'm also probably going to read some more Babysitters Club books. And I'm going to read, I'm hoping to at least read one Louise Penny in a 3 Pines book. There's 3 more left that I have to finish. I want to finish the series by the end of the year. And I also kind of want to finish the Virgin River books, but I don't know. there's just so much historical fiction I want to get to that I may not do that this month. So, yeah. So, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Storm reads may have to wait until maybe next year or next month, we'll see, to hear me rant about the romances I love and not so much love. Anyway, I'm gonna have a phone call soon, so I'm gonna end this here. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Oh, and wish me luck, because I've never done a TBR, so we'll see if I follow it. See you guys.
Speech on. Centered. Stop recording video.